Living in Miami in 2026 is not the endless summer postcard people post online, and it's not the overpriced disaster some comment sections make it out to be either. It's sunnier, stickier, more expensive, more chaotic, and somehow still more magnetic than almost any other place I've lived. After nearly 10 years here, this is the most honest version of what it actually feels like day to day: the heat, the costs, the traffic, the beauty, and the quiet parts nobody puts on Instagram. If you want the real, unfiltered picture of life in this city, whether you already live here or you're thinking about it, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. I only make these once a year. I've been in Miami for almost a decade. This year marks a full 10 years of calling this place home. I've had seasons that felt like pure freedom and seasons that felt like pure survival. My goal today is simple. I'm not trying to sell you on Miami, and I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I just want to show you what living here actually looks and feels like right now so you can decide for yourself. We're talking about the real cost of existing here, what housing feels like once you're in it, the daily mental load of traffic and weather, safety, community versus loneliness, and the small things that either keep people here or eventually push them out. The daily cost of just existing hits different in Miami. Florida has no state income tax, and that still matters more than a lot of people admit. You keep more of your paycheck than you would in New York, California, or most of the Northeast. But the rest of the bill comes due in other ways, and those ways add up fast. One-bedroom apartments in the core of the city regularly sit around $2,500 to $2,700 a month. Two bedrooms push past $3,000 without much effort. Median rents across Miami hover near $3,100, which is still well above the national average. Utilities are higher than most newcomers expect because the air conditioning never really turns off from May through October. Electricity bills in the summer can easily climb past $200 for a modest place if you're not careful. Car insurance is expensive. And if you own a home or even a condo, the insurance conversation has become its own full-time stress. Homeowners insurance in this part of Florida can be several times higher than similar properties up north. Flood and wind coverage are not optional in a lot of neighborhoods. Those numbers surprise almost everyone who moves here from somewhere else. Minimum wage in Florida is $15 an hour. That is better than it used to be, but almost nobody survives on it alone in Miami. Most people I know who work service, hospitality, or entry-level jobs live with roommates, work a second shift, drive for a delivery app, or have some kind of side hustle. Groceries feel more expensive than they should. A casual dinner out for two can quietly become $80 or $90 before you realize it. Gas, parking, and random fees keep chipping away. The people who stay the longest usually get very good at living below their means on purpose. They cook more, they share costs with roommates or partners, they learn which neighborhoods still feel like a stretch worth making, and they stop treating every weekend like a vacation. Housing once you're already in it is its own full-time job. Finding a place is competitive. Living in one is a constant calculation. Condos dominate a big part of the market, especially closer to the water and in places like Brickell, Edgewater, and parts of Miami Beach. With them come HOA fees that can quietly eat $300, $400, or even $500 every month on top of rent or the mortgage. Older buildings sometimes carry special assessments after the state-mandated inspections. Newer ones look beautiful on the tour: floor-to-ceiling windows, amenities, the whole package, and then the reality of parking costs, guest rules, noise from the street, and the occasional construction settles in. Renters still deal with annual increases. The market has cooled a little from the wild years of 2021 to 2023, but it has not become cheap. The difference between a decent one-bedroom and a place that actually feels livable long-term can easily be several $100s a month. Location decides almost everything. A slightly longer commute can save real money on rent, but then you pay for it in time and frustration on the road every single day. If you currently live in Miami, drop one real thing in the comments that either makes you stay or makes you question it. The honest answers help more than any polished list. Safety and the daily mental load are quieter topics, but they shape how people actually move through the city more than most outsiders realize. Crime varies hard by neighborhood. Some areas feel calm, well-watched, and almost suburban. Others require the same head-on-a-swivel awareness you would use in any major American city. Property crime is still the more common issue for most regular residents: car break-ins, package theft, the occasional opportunistic grab. Violent crime exists, but it is not evenly distributed, and most people who live here long-term learn the patterns the same way people do in any big city. You pay attention to where you are, what time it is, and how you're moving. The bigger daily friction for a lot of people is traffic. Miami consistently ranks near the top of the most congested cities in the country. A drive that looks short on the map can easily double or triple in real time. I-95, the Palmetto, US 1, the causeways, they all have their own personality depending on the hour. Public transit exists. The Metrorail, Metromóvil, and some bus lines help in specific corridors, but they are not comprehensive enough for most people to live without a car. That means parking fees, insurance, gas, maintenance, and the constant mental energy of just trying to get across town without losing an hour of your day. In the winter, when the snowbirds and tourists arrive, everything gets worse. Then there is the weather. From roughly November through April, Miami can feel like a genuine gift. Mild temperatures, blue skies, outdoor everything. You eat outside, you walk outside, you live outside. From May through October it becomes a different equation entirely. The heat and humidity are relentless. Temperatures in the low to mid-90s with humidity that makes the air feel thick. Afternoon storms roll through like clockwork. Hurricane season runs from June to November, and while direct major hits are not yearly events, the preparation is. You learn the evacuation zones for your building or neighborhood. You keep supplies. You watch the forecasts more carefully than people in most other cities ever will. Sunny day flooding in certain low-lying areas during king tides is no longer rare. The city has invested in pumps and raised roads, but the water still finds its way in some places. Insurance companies have responded by raising rates dramatically, and that cost filters down to almost everyone in some form: higher rent, higher HOA fees, higher everything. The climate is both the biggest selling point of Miami and one of the biggest ongoing responsibilities of living here. Community versus loneliness is the part that catches a lot of people off guard. Miami has a reputation for being social, glamorous, and full of energy. That is true in certain circles and certain neighborhoods. It is also true that the city can feel surprisingly transient. People come for a few years, for the weather, for the lifestyle, for a job, for a relationship, and then many of them leave. Building deeper friendships takes more intentional effort than the party image suggests. I have had stretches where the city felt wide open and full of possibility, and stretches where it felt isolating even while surrounded by people at a packed restaurant or on a crowded beach. The cultural mix is one of the strongest and most alive parts of living here. Latin American, Caribbean, European, and American influences sit next to each other in a way that still feels genuine. Food, music, language, and daily interactions carry that energy. You hear Spanish, Portuguese, Haitian Creole, and English in the same afternoon. But the same international flow that makes the city interesting can also make it harder to feel rooted if you are looking for long-term, steady community. Most people who stay long enough eventually find their rhythm. They stop treating every weekend like a vacation and start treating the place like home. They learn which beaches are actually worth the drive on a Saturday, which grocery stores feel reasonable, which routes avoid the worst traffic at certain hours, and which months you just accept that you will sweat more than usual. They accept that summer is something you manage rather than something you fully enjoy. The ones who leave usually cite the same short list: the cost, the heat and humidity, the traffic, the insurance stress, or the sense that the lifestyle never quite matched the version they imagined when they first arrived. The quiet truth after 10 years is this: living in Miami is expensive, sticky, congested, and sometimes stressful in ways that do not show up in the photos. It is also one of the few places where you can spend most of the year outside, where the cultural mix feels genuinely global, where the tax situation helps your bottom line, and where the energy of the city still has the power to reset your mood on a good day. Some years feel light and free. Some years feel like you are constantly managing the next bill, the next storm forecast, or the next traffic delay. Most years are a messy mix of both. Neither the pure sunshine version nor the pure complaint version is the full story. The real version sits in the middle, and it looks different depending on your neighborhood, your income, your tolerance for heat and humidity, how much you need deep community versus daily stimulation, and whether the trade-offs feel worth it to you personally. If you already live here, you already know the trade-offs. If you are still deciding, go in with clear eyes. The city will not adjust itself to your expectations. But a lot of people still choose it every day for reasons that make sense to them. That is the most honest picture I can give you of living in Miami in 2026. If this helped even a little, give it a thumbs up, hype the video if you can, and make sure you are subscribed with the bell on. I only drop these once a year and I want you to catch the next one. Drop your own reality in the comments, the good, the frustrating, and why you stay or why you are thinking about leaving. Whether you live here already or you are still deciding, protect your peace and make the choice that actually fits your life. I'll see you in the next one.